Hello everyone, this is Raw vs. Wrestling for Monday Night Raw, May 2nd, 2011. The show started off with Lillian Garcia singing the national anthem, and this was mostly done because of the news that happened the night before with Osama bin Laden being killed in action. So obviously WWE was going to do this because of their support of the troops and their support of the country in general. So no biggie that they were going to do this to start off the show, and I actually like that they did that to begin with. After that happened, it was Rock coming out to start off the show, and he did his whole spiel about coming home and everything like that. And then it eventually gets interrupted by Michael Cole and the Raw general manager, essentially having them want to get an apology for the Raw GM for being embarrassed at WrestleMania. And of course, Michael Cole's also going to ask for an apology for all the times that he's been embarrassed over the years by The Rock as well. Rock did his classic, okay, he apologizes, shaking Michael Cole's hand, and then eventually saying, go Heat, and rock bottom, giving him the rock bottom and the people's elbow. Luckily, this gets rid of Cole for the night, so we don't have to hear him try to work over his heel character as an announcer. So that was a pretty good segment in my mind. But for the night, but also for the rest of the night, it was pretty much just an entertainment show. If you were looking for wrestling, maybe outside of one or two matches, you weren't going to get that. Because, I mean, the first two matches in the first hour were pretty much interrupted right away. John Morrison and R-Truth never got started. R-Truth came out and attacked Morrison and pretty much gave him a beatdown. This works out great for his heel character, and also they're probably working out some theme music for R-Truth for his heel character, because you can't just have him coming out to What's Up anymore. So good way to work over his heel character, and also good way of killing some time if they're making theme music for him at this point in time. Second match was supposed to be Kelly versus Maryse. It got started, but it got interrupted immediately by Karma, and I have to say I'm liking what they're doing with Karma so far. I mean, she's only attacked heels, but I have a feeling she'll be a tweener in the near future where she's just attacking all divas. It essentially makes the Divas division interesting. It doesn't look like you're just getting the same person over and over and over and over again. So it should be interesting. Of course, you're also gonna, since it was a Rock's birthday celebration that night, you're gonna have a backstage segment. And honestly, the two backstage segments that they did for the Rock's birthday party was extremely well done. I liked the whole bit where Vicky and Dolph thought they were going to get one over on him, bringing in Mae Young, but yet he turns the tables on them and actually giving Mae Young a kiss. It was actually kind of funny. And of course, seeing Khali, Santino, and Hornswoggle dress up as some of his old movie roles was funny, and led to Ron Simmons being on camera and doing his classic "damn" moment. So that was kind of good to see as well. Again, it kind of died off when they initially were doing it on a weekly basis, but it was nice to see it again for classic old time's sake. This led into John Cena versus The Miz for the WWE title. Miz was getting his rematch from the night before. Once again, these two can put a well put together match. The match ended in DQ after it looked like The Miz was going to win the title, and by knocking out Cena with the belt and then getting the pin. But eventually, it just led to a moment where the referee saw that the belt was used for the victory, and then he reversed the decision. I thought the match was, like I said before, I thought the match was well put together, and it was also a very good teaser. You thought you were getting a title change that night. So off to the next match that they did, you had Kofi Kingston and Rey Mysterio versus Jack Swagger and Drew McIntyre. This was based all on the draft picks from SmackDown coming over to Raw. You also had Alberto Del Rio on commentary. And he essentially, the match itself was pretty good. It ended out with Rey and Kofi winning the match, with Rey pinning Drew McIntyre. And the entire time on commentary, it just looks like Alberto Del Rio is going to rekindle his feud with Rey Mysterio. It just felt that way from the get-go, which isn't a bad feud. It's something that he's familiar with, and then you can bring this to the Raw crowd, to some of the people who haven't seen it yet. So, all in all, good match and good setup for a feud in the near future. The last match that you essentially had for the night was Kane versus Mason Ryan. This ended with Mason Ryan getting DQ'd again. I mean, what can you say? You had 2 no contests and 2 DQs that in the night. So, well, after that, Kane was getting attacked by Nexus because CM Punk initially caused the DQ and then Nexus ran down afterwards. This caused Big Show to try to make the save, and it looked like he was until Mason Ryan himself laid out both of them. Now, hopefully this will lead into something for them with the tag title picture, and hopefully it will lead into Mason Ryan actually going for that tag title picture instead of being the enforcer on the outside of the ring, because he makes the Nexus feel like a legitimate threat to that tag team title that the Big Show and Kane hold. So hopefully that's the way they'll go with it. Who knows what they'll be doing. Next, you essentially had the Rock celebration, and what can you say? I expected something to actually happen in this segment, especially since it was the last segment on Raw. You had Vince come out, and they played a memorial thing for The Rock, and then you had balloons and confetti. Seriously, I thought Miz or somebody was going to come out and attack The Rock, or you'd have a shocking return of any kind, but ended up not doing it. But for an all-in-all show, tonight, or Raw for this week, just wasn't, if you wanted wrestling, you weren't going to get it. And typically, you don't always get it with Monday Night Raw. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. This week was all about an entertainment value, and also a semi-tribute to the troops, with thanking them again because of all the news with Osama bin Laden being killed. So, all in all, semi-entertaining show. You weren't going to get a wrestling show out of it. I probably wouldn't rate it high if I was actually rating it this week, but I'm not going to because of the circumstances and factors that were going into it. But all in all, I would probably rate this as a bad show, but what can you say? Hopefully next week on Raw they'll be able to get their feuds going for Over the Limit, and they'll just go back on their beaten path into setting up their next pay-per-view. Thank you guys for listening, and have a nice night.